Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today update channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke and Ridge argue about forgiving Hope? By Heather Hughes on comments, post a comment. Related, The Bold and the Beautiful, television, spoilers, soap opera. 30. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke and Ridge argue about forgiving Hope? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful suggest that there might be more confrontation between Ridge and Brooke Logan Forrester. Will Brooke and Ridge's next issue be whether or not to forgive Hope Logan Spencer? Along with Ridge and the other Forresters, Brooke was caught off guard by Hope's betrayal, so it's clear that she's having difficulties at the moment. Because of this, Brooke is hiding at a wellness facility while attempting to cope with the suffering Hope has given her. Hope is still Brooke's daughter, though, so that relationship cannot be severed. Hope struck a painful blow behind Brooke's back, yet Brooke will always love her. In addition, Hope recently experienced a panic episode during a confrontation with her mother, which caused her to pass out. Brooke would likely have already softened her position and expressed worries if she had known about that. It's crucial to remember that if Brooke finds out that this animosity is directly harming Hope's health, she won't continue. This could be BMB's approach of getting Brooke to forgive Hope for joining Logan without telling her. Naturally, Brooke might have an opportunity to calm down and try to see things from Hope's perspective on this wellness retreat. Brooke's forgiveness might be imminent given that and Hope's medical crisis. Right now, Steffy Forrester Finnegan and Brooke get along well, but that might change if Brooke changes his mind and stops endorsing the same anti-Hope position. Ridge might take Steffy's side and claim that Brooke is treating Hope the traitor far too lightly. Ridge and Brooke can't seem to get along for very long before something comes up. If Ridge doesn't think Brooke should forgive Hope, it could be the next point of contention. If Hope decides to move back in the future, Ridge may take up his prior position of refusing to live with her. Ridge and Brooke may eventually have some serious arguments as a result of Brooke's efforts to get back in touch with her daughter. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke and Ridge will eventually encounter further difficulties in their relationship, so keep an eye out for any Hope-related developments. Make CDL your go-to source for all the sizzling Bold and the Beautiful spoilers and news. Will's careless decision changes everything, fulfilling RJ's warning. How much drama could there be in a love relationship that went well for years? Daytime isn't meant to tell uplifting stories that make people feel better. Rather, individuals are introduced, and viewers grow attached to the many, unique personalities. When those characters encounter conflict and look for a solution, drama ensues. On-screen and off-screen, coupling is just as organic. People's perceptions of the soapy pairings and their conclusion are also subject to change. Will and Elektra showed a mutual, early spark and were a convincing match. Then, when Luna Nozawa determined that Elektra wasn't suitable for him, Will's life became out of his control. Regarding Will's deservingness of Grace's character, RJ shares this opinion. RJ is courageous. He publicly stated that Will wasn't the right fit for Elektra after seeing her and becoming attracted to her. At first, Elektra chastised RJ, informing him that she was devoted to her partner. However, she discovered that Will had somewhat cheated on her with Melissa, her new but purported best friend, as a result of ongoing dramatic story points. Over time, RJ's cautions became more apparent. Nicoletti's character will undoubtedly take advantage of Elektra's current state of shock and vulnerability. He is not taking advantage of the circumstance, instead, he believes that sympathy is being extended. Will said he was sorry for kissing Melissa. She also left the beach house. It wasn't a mistake to keep Hope Logan Spencer's relocation to Logan and the new fashion company's jewelry line a secret from Elektra. Will is made to feel guilty when he isn't because of Elektra's inexperience in the business world and the biased criticism she has received from Forrester family members at their fashion house. Elektra doesn't seem to understand that she is mistaken, not Will. Melissa is positioned similarly to Morrow's role, and it appears that RJ will be up next. The long-standing tradition of Daytime is continued by remixing this quartet of youthful characters in the summer. It's common practice to develop narratives for younger viewers who are taking months-long vacations from school. These new combinations will probably soon be seen by both new and returning viewers. Eric's explosive warning, Finn's betrayal, and Daphne's devastating diagnosis. Let's start this post with Daphne. Despite months of trying with Carter Walton, fans are aware that she is still not pregnant. Lee Finnegan will finally be seen by the woman. Lee appears to have a concerning diagnosis for Daphne, though. In fact, Steffi Forrester Finnegan offers her support after learning the news. Additionally, it is said that Daphne and Carter's marriage will be put to the test. Carter and Daphne both yearned for a family. Their dream doesn't have to change because they are infertile, it just takes a slightly different path. Finn has pledged to never let Steffi down, just when she is dealing with a lot of betrayal in her life. But that's precisely what he's going to do. Sheila Carter will keep pleading with Finn to let her stay in touch with her family. But none of the Forresters, including Steffi, will ever permit that. Finn seems like he might turn on Steffi. Sheila has been making a lot of effort, so one can sympathize with Finn, but there is simply too much history with Steffi. What will Finn and Sheila do, I wonder? Spoilers for this week's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Bill Spencer gives Will some love advice. Melissa Dillon is encouraged to approach Will in the meanwhile. In fact, Will and Dylan may be seen conversing at the bar in a preview picture. Additionally, it is mentioned that the women at Bikini assist Will in moving on. Will continues to attempt to reason with Electra Forrester throughout the remainder of the week. Electra has been cautioned to avoid Will and his fury, though. Eric Forrester then advises Will to avoid his loved ones. Has Zen been held back the entire time by Bold and the Beautiful? Following the triumphant debut of Logan's most recent collection, Zen found himself at a career turning point once more. Hope was identified by the new fashion house as the creative force behind their latest collection. Other designers, including Thomas and RJ, have already disregarded Zend. He now has to balance his allegiances to the Forrester family with a bitter corporate rivalry. In the meantime, there is growing hostility between Logan and Forrester Creations. Zend might end up in the midst of this conflict. He was prepared to begin creating designs for the rebirth of Hope for the future. He may now need to reevaluate his allegiances. Will Zend follow Logan and join Hope and Deke as a major creative force? He might at last receive the attention he has been longing for. According to Zend, ready-to-wear is his sweet spot. He might go independent and start his own ready-to-wear brand with Forrester Creations. Zend's immediate future is in corporate warfare rather than a solo endeavor, even though he already has the experience and qualifications. As usual, Zend will need to figure out how to collaborate with others while attempting to break out on his own. Zend enjoyed working with Ridge, RJ, and Eric, but he would prefer to have his opinions heard. This might motivate him to work independently at Forrester Creations. Even without Hope as the brand's spokesperson, Zend has the executive authority to decide to discontinue the redesigned HTFT range since he is now the company's chief designer. Hope wasn't a designer, therefore it doesn't really need her. Forrester Creations just needs to be well known, especially now that Hope is the main focus. Zend may attempt to reclaim it from her. What will happen to Zend's fashion career next? Tuesday, July 15th. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Dylan gives in to temptation, Daphne's life is destroyed. By Taylor Rioan, comments, post a comment. Related, television, The Bold and the Beautiful, soap opera, spoiler, slider. 16. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Dylan gives in to temptation, and Daphne's life is destroyed. There will be spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. We may anticipate that Daphne Rose Walton will receive terrible news in this B&B episode. Melissa Dillon, meanwhile, is faced with a temptation that has the potential to destroy her entire life. Discover what will happen next in the CBS soap opera by continuing to read. The appointment of Daphne Rose Walton. Let's begin with Daphne, who has been attempting to conceive with Lawrence St. Victor's character, Carter Walton. They continue to have negative pregnancy tests in spite of their best efforts. Daphne now wants to confirm that her lack of conception is not due to a medical condition. The nose hopes that all will become evident or that the issue preventing pregnancy can be resolved. The bombshell of Lee Finnegan. Lee Finnegan appears to have some terrible news to deliver, which is unfortunate. Daphne must be informed by the doctor of the test results. Daphne will most likely be informed that she is infertile because it doesn't seem like good news. This would have prevented a couple from becoming parents many decades ago. However, there are several solutions available nowadays. All Daphne and Carter have to do is determine what is best for them. Daphne and Carter may need some time to come to terms with the possibility that their family may not look exactly like they had envisioned. Melissa Dillon's ethical conundrum. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Dillon recently learned that Electra Forrester had moved out of the beach house. Even though Electra stated that she would never be able to be with Will Spencer again, her sentiments are still present. Dillon is probably going to pursue Will, but if she does, she might lose everything. By pursuing her friend's ex-partner, Dillon is defying the female code. She would also be Plan B. Who wants to be a guy's backup girl? I understand that Dillon still has feelings for him. Who? Nobody. Either way, Dillon will need to consider his options carefully. I could see her attempting to conceal her relationship with Will. But soon enough, Electra would learn, and that would be enough to destroy both Dillon's new job and their friendship. Will, on the other hand, has been instructed to simply move on from Electra. Stay tuned because Will won't be able to accomplish that. Which plot do you most want to see? Post your opinions in the space provided for comments below. To see what happens next, don't forget to continue watching the soap opera on CBS or Paramount+. Lee's heartbreaking news, Dillon's risky decision, and Will's revelation. Let's start this post with Daphne. The woman married Carter Walton, as fans are aware. They made the decision to start a family as soon as they were married. They had been trying for months, but their pregnancy test is still negative. Therefore, Daphne's decision to see a doctor is the appropriate one. But it also brings with it some depressing news. Daphne may be informed that she is infertile and will not be able to conceive by the traditional method. Lee actually took in John Finnegan. Lee might advise Daphne to consider adoption even if both situations and results were very different. Another individual who might be drawn into this plot is Zend Forrester Dominguez, who was also adopted. Perhaps Dillon becomes pregnant, in which case Daphne might covertly adopt the child. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Electra Forrester just gave Dillon a shocking revelation. Dillon raised his eyes when Electra declared that she would never be able to be with Will Spencer. Dillon is aware that she cannot begin dating Will as soon as Electra moves out. She might not be able to stop herself, though. Dillon will have to carefully consider her options in any event. Dillon is pursuing Will in an attempt to breach the girl code. Furthermore, does Dillon really want to destroy Electra's friendship and be Will's second choice? Dillon needs to think carefully because this might also cost her her nice new job. When Dillon encounters Will, he will provide his version of events. Dillon will naturally want to console him, but everything has a cost, so pay attention. Forrester is in more serious trouble, according to Ridge's announcement. Electra just learned that Will had been sworn to secrecy regarding Shauna, Logan's new jewelry designer, and that they had been in possession of the Hope for the Future diamond all along. During Hope's runway debut, they used the diamond. An report about Logan's popular show caught Electra's attention. Ridge told Electra that her jewelry line had been put on hold when she entered the design office. Ridge expressed regret about the choice. This action was related to Bill and Katie rather than her line. He asserted that they were accountable for the PR disaster they caused. The news that another jewelry designer was in town already infuriated Electra. After Will assured her that there would be no more secrets, she was shocked to learn that he had withheld another significant secret from her. Electra thought her line was slipping. She wasn't, Ridge reassured her. However, she couldn't stop thinking about Will's treachery. Will, according to Electra, knew everything and kept it a secret from her. RJ heard what Ridge and Electra were talking about. He reassured Electra that everything will work out. He was sure Ridge and Steffi could get past this mess, but is it too late? Carter did some math a few weeks earlier and discovered that Forrester Creations had used all of its funds for Eric's collection. After this, he wasn't sure how they would proceed. Ridge and Steffi were optimistic about hope for the future's future. It would have been less expensive than the couture line because the line has been on the sidelines since last year. However, they no longer have hope for the future. They have nothing and are unsure of how to go following Logan's triumphant fashion display. Will's heartbreak, Dylan's move, and Finn's startling promise. Sheila Carter remains at Finn's hospital office. The woman talks about how Taylor Hayes and Deacon Sharp broke her heart. She feels hopeful after Finn calls her mother. She'll never fail him. The woman longs for Finn and their time spent together. Sheila is aware that she was unworthy in the past, but what about now? Sheila keeps pleading with Finn to talk to Steffi Forrester Finnegan. His marriage will end if he backs Sheila. All Sheila wants is to spend time with her family. Steffi is not even required to be present. According to Finn, it is not feasible. Sheila informs him that she had the option to go after Taylor and Deacon but chose not to. Finn is aware of Sheila and is pleased with her. He is still unable to turn on Steffi. Sheila never stops pleading. Finn eventually becomes weary. Although he can't guarantee anything, the doctor promises he will speak with Steffi. Sheila only desires that. To demonstrate that she is not the same person she was all those years ago, Sheila consented to an amicable divorce. Sheila doesn't anticipate his declaration of love. Finn abruptly admits that he loves his biological mother. They give each other a hug, but Finn's expression is distant and anxious. Steffi is on the phone at Forrester Creations. An interview is requested by Ion Fashion. LOL. That is amusing. Steffi violently hangs up the phone after refusing. When Ridge Forrester walks in, he is not happy. Steffi inquires about his well-being. Ridge tells her about the punch to Bill Spencer. Ridge feels like a hypocrite, but Steffi argues that Bill deserves it. He learns of Deacon and Sheila's divorce from Steffi. Sheila now desires to be in Finn's life, nevertheless. The woman fears Finn may cave in to Sheila. Ridge doesn't believe that will occur. Bill displays his Ridge bruise to Will Spencer at Logan. Bill advises Will to move on from Elektra. Will is committed to making things right. You can love someone, but it's not fate, according to Bill. LA is full of other women. Will's only desire is Elektra. Bill clarifies that Will has done nothing improper. Elektra ought to be more sympathetic. Will still desires her return. Will wants to know why, unlike Katie Logan Spencer, his father isn't encouraging him to fight. According to Bill, the circumstances are quite different. Bill argues that Will ought to establish the guidelines rather than abide by them. Forresters and Spencers are not intended to be together. Bill advises his son to forget about Elektra and head to the beach. Elektra confides in Dylan at Bikini Bar. She clarifies that she left the beach house. Dylan is taken aback. How could a breakup result from a single fashion show? Dylan is informed by Elektra that Will has punched R.J. Forrester once more. She had to take R.J. to the hospital after he nearly suffered a concussion. Additionally, Elektra clarifies that Ridge gave her a decision to make. It is impossible for the Spencers and Forresters to be together. It's Elektra's life, Dylan argues, and if she truly wants to be with Will, she can. According to Elektra, she somehow owes the Forresters. Dylan looks around after learning that her relationship with Will is completely finished. The violence that Brooke is using against Katie is becoming out of control. Brooke made it very evident in the most recent episode of BMB that she was furious that her daughter Hope Logan was now employed by Katie's design firm. Brooke flung a something at her sister's face during their intense dispute, but it struck the computer screen behind her and broke into pieces instead. Yes, Brooke is acting as though her daughter Hope is incapable of making her own professional decisions because she feels deceived and furious. The internet did, of course, have a lot to say about the issue on social media. Maybe it's just me, but I have a real problem with Brooke's escalating violence toward Katie, said one commenter. Regardless of the situation, it's truly insane. Another show critic commented, "What is she going to do next? Throwing an object toward her that was heavy enough to shatter a digital display is next level crazy. The slap was bad enough. Run her over?" To be honest, I can envision Katie experiencing a heart attack or other potentially fatal situation. Additionally, there was this comment, "Having said that, it appeared to me that she was blinded by rage by the words Hope and Logan on the screen and wanted to destroy it when the scene was filmed. I didn't think she was trying to hit Katie."